Hey y'all, it's Dr. Lala. Welcome back to another episode of the Re3Volve Podcast. This is the place where believers meet at the intersections of grief, loss, and transitions to explore how faith and therapy help along the way. Because grief and loss are a journey, it is not a final destination. Y'all, today is a special episode. This is our 50th episode. Oh my goodness. When I started this journey last year, I can't say that I knew that I would make it to 50. I really can't. So this episode isn't just another episode. This is a milestone, right? It's a marker. Because this podcast forced me to step into what I call my season of radical obedience. Yep. It was radical obedience, because can I just be honest with you and tell you that this is not something that I necessarily would have seen for myself. I wouldn't have, because I tend to like to stay in the background. You know, I'm one of those people who do whatever you ask me to do as long as I can do it back here, right? But starting the Re3Volve Podcast forced me to come out of the background. You know, this was definitely about obedience, right? And it has stretched me spiritually. It's stretched me in leadership. It stretched my identity. Shoot, everything has been stretched, right? And this was my first step into the light. Yeah. Wow. I am shocked and in disbelief. We made it, y'all. And I am so excited to be here. So, and this episode isn't necessarily about what I learned on the journey in these first 50 episodes. It's more about who I've become along the way. Yeah, because I've grown so much in this journey. And so before I talk about who I am now, I definitely want to honor the woman that I was, the versions of me that I had to outgrow to get here, because I definitely had to do some growing. I did. I had to outgrow the version of me who would make herself small, the version of me who felt like I had to be strong all the time, even not necessarily because I wanted to be. Not necessarily because I like to be strong, but because I had to, or at least I felt like I did. The version of me that used to put different parts of myself on the shelf. I would compartmentalize my emotions, and I would really just show up as the version of me that I needed to be in the moment. The version of me who was silent a lot of the times, not necessarily because I didn't have anything to say, but just because I didn't really feel like it was necessary. The version of me who relied on herself, you know, not because I didn't have anyone to rely on in this journey, especially the last 5 or 10 years, you know, because my siblings have been my rock. My baby has been my rock, my motivation to keep going. My husband has been my safe space. And even with having these people in this support system, there was still a part of me that felt like I needed to do it myself. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to bother anybody. Yeah, I had to outgrow her. Not because those versions of me are wrong, but honestly, she was tired. She was tired of just surviving. She was tired of just getting by, you know? And she showed up in that way because she was trying to protect me, right? Our brains do what they have to do to protect us. Our nervous systems do what they have to do in order to protect us. And so mine showed up in all of those versions of me, to protect me. And she was protecting me the only way she knew how. And so I'm thankful for her. I'm so glad that God protected her, because that version of me got me here. That version of me helped me to become who I'm becoming, because I'm still growing, I'm still evolving. But the truth is, she can't take me where I'm going. And as much as I'm thankful for her, it's time for me to let her go. And it was in the middle of outgrowing all of these versions of myself that God told me that it was time. It was time for me to come out of the shadows. It was time for me to stop hiding. It was time for me to stop compartmentalizing. It was time for me to start showing up fully and wholly as a daughter, and walking in that authority as a daughter. And so again, this became my season of radical obedience. Because listen, I'll be honest, this isn't necessarily something that I wanted to do, because I don't care to be in the spotlight. I was talking to my coach, my podcast coach, in our last meeting, and I told her, like, being on camera is rough for me. It is. That's something I have to be intentional about doing, is being on camera. So it's about obedience. It wasn't about having a platform. It was about identity. And so it's time to stop dimming. It's time to stop dimming my light, because I was afraid of being too much. Time to stop softening my authority and my knowledge, because I'm afraid of someone being intimidated. Time to stop hiding my grief, because sometimes I still grieve, and grief makes folks uncomfortable. That's part of why I started the podcast, is so we could start having these conversations, and so people will know that it's okay to not be okay. And some days I'm good. Like, I am really, really good. I've said it before. Sometimes grief is like a butterfly that kind of just flutters by in the springtime. And then other days, grief is like an elephant sitting in your chest. And on those days when it's an elephant, you still try to show up as if everything is okay, because you don't want what you're going through to become somebody else's problem. And so that's why we're having these conversations, because grief and loss is something we're always going to experience. We're always going to have change. We're always going to be going through transitions, because those are the only guarantees in life: change and death. Those are the only two things that are guaranteed. And so we're better suited to learn how to navigate it. And we navigate that better when we're in community. So this podcast isn't just a pet project. It's not. It's a calling. It's a part of the calling on my life, to help people navigate their journeys through loss and transition, so that we can have community, because we aren't meant to be on this journey alone. We were created to live life together, right? And so once God told me it was time for me to stop hiding, I had a choice. I could keep living in these pieces of myself, or I could become the whole woman He was calling me to be. I had a choice. And He doesn't force things on us. The Father is amazing in that way. That's His character. He gives us choices. And so I made the conscious decision to stop living in pieces. It was time for me to integrate and to become whole. And that's not to say that I'm perfect or that I get everything right all the time. It just means that I'm starting to show up fully as who I am, as the healed version of myself. And the healed version of me requires integration. I am all of those things all at the same time. I'm a nurse. I'm a mama. I'm a wife. I'm a leader, a woman of faith, a coach, and I'm a daughter still healing. Yes, I am still on a healing journey. You know, healing isn't a linear process. We are going in and out of the different stages of grief and loss all the time. It's a part of life. It's a part of living. And while that is the case, I can still live a full and happy and healthy life, right? Because I am a woman becoming. Yes, I am still becoming the best version of myself. I'm still becoming the version of me that God would have me to be. I'm still becoming. And can I just be honest with you and tell you that that blows my mind? Because next year will be a milestone year for me. And there were so many things that transpired in the last 10 to 20 years. I experienced so much over the last 10 to 20 years. The death of my son, the loss of both of my parents, went through a divorce, got remarried. There have been so many things that transpired. Earned a doctorate degree. Worked for certifications. Like, there are so many things that have happened in the last 20 years. None of these things had I planned for. None of them had I prepared for. And I'll be honest, there were days that I wondered, Lord, am I going to survive this? Lord, surely this ain't your will for my life. Yet here I am. On those days that I wondered if I would ever smile again. On those days that I wondered if I would ever be happy again. And on this journey of becoming, I've learned that joy truly is a state of mind. It is. The joy of the Lord is my strength. And so even when hard times come, I have joy. I might not be happy all the time. I might not be happy about what's going on. Okay? But I have joy. I do, and I live in a state of gratitude. I do. And not that type of gratitude where I don't acknowledge that bad things happen. That's not what I'm saying. Because trust, I recognize and fully understand that bad things happen. But I choose to experience life from the space of thankfulness and gratitude that things are as well as they are. Because I've lived enough life and had enough experiences that I know without question that things could definitely be worse. Yeah, things could be worse. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful each and every day. The older I get, the more I appreciate when the elders in church when I was a little girl would get up during testimony service. And I know a lot of y'all probably don't even know what testimony service is, right? But when I was little, we used to have testimony service, and the mothers in the church would get up and say, I want to thank the Lord for my being here and for waking me up this morning, clothed in my right mind, and the activities of my limbs. The older I get, the better I understand. And so every day now I wake up, and that is my testimony. I thank the Lord for waking me up this morning, clothed in my right mind and with the activities of my limbs. Because I went through a season where I wondered. I really did. Again, that's how the Re3Volve Podcast came to be. Because I had people asking me, how is it that you don't look like what you've been through? I had a season when people would ask me, how are you doing? And I would tell them, well, I ain't in jail. And I meant that. And so I'm thankful. God has truly been good to me. And so I'm thankful for this version of myself that I'm becoming. I'm so thankful for her. I'm thankful to God for allowing me to even get to this space, to be having this conversation with y'all today. Because honestly, when I started this journey, I didn't know that it would become what it is, what it's becoming. That it will become ministry. Because somewhere between episode 1 and 50, I truly got an understanding of what it means when people say, and when I've said that God wastes nothing. Because he doesn't. God wastes nothing. Nothing at all. My healing hasn't been in secret. And my becoming isn't just about me. Choosing to show up. Choosing to be vulnerable. I'll be honest with you, it's taken courage. Because I've shared things here on the Re3Volve Podcast that some of them I've never told anybody but God. You know? And others I've only shared with the people closest to me. My siblings. My sister circle. And my husband. So I've shared things here that I haven't shared with anyone else. Haven't shared in any other spaces. And so this has become an assignment. This is about obedience. This is not a show. It's not. This is me fully showing up and walking in my purpose. And so because I know this is purpose, I know that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of our journey. And I'll be honest with you, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what God is doing in these next 50 episodes. I'm excited about what he's going to reveal for us. I'm excited about what he's going to do for us and in us in these next 50 episodes. I anticipate that we'll experience deeper healing. We'll have clearer identity. Our faith will grow even stronger. These conversations are going to get bolder. We're going to start having guests more often. As you know, my husband has come on and shared some conversations with us, but we're going to start bringing in others, some therapists, coaches, pastors, people who've had their own journeys, therapists. We're going to start having some company on the podcast because I truly believe that we heal better in community and that we need each other. No more shrinking. No more compartmentalizing. No more performing. And I encourage you guys to do the same. I do. Be obedient to what the Father is telling you to do in this season. Becoming the best version of yourself, the woman that God would have you to be, the person that God would have you to be. Step into this next season with authority and clarity and courage. Because we're doing this together. I'm right here by your side. I'm holding your hand as we go on this journey of becoming and showing up in full authority, with full authority, without shame. We're going to be bold and courageous in this next season. And what I know for sure is that if God can do this for me, He can certainly do it for you. Because the God we serve has no respect for persons. He loves each and every one of us the same. And so as we get ready to close out this episode, thank you for walking with me. Thank you for being here with me on this journey. Thank you for allowing me to grow and evolve and to integrate in real time. Because all of this has happened in real time. I appreciate you for being here with me and being patient with me as I grow and learn in this space. And I honor your healing and the courage that has taken you to show up for yourself and to make the choice to step forward and to heal and to move forward with the Father in becoming who He would have you to be. I'm excited about it. These first 50 episodes have been about obedience, identity, healing, transformation. And I'm excited. I'm excited about this next 50 because I'm expecting God to do some great and marvelous things for all of us. Not just me, all of us. And so until next time, keep choosing healing. Keep choosing joy. I love y'all. Bye.